What's up, everyone? Welcome back to We Are Tottenham TV. My guest again today is John for the second episode of The Moment You Realise, when we're going to be talking about Harry Kane. He's one of our own, and we're going to be going back and reliving that once again with John. So, yeah, how you doing?
How you doing, man? You all right? Looking forward to
Yeah,
this one?
good. Thank you. Yeah. So, for me, the highlight moment of Kane, the moment I realised he's up to that level now to be in the Spurs first team. Of course, each episode is different for each player because we don't have world-class players all the time, but there are certain games and certain memories that will bring up. 3-3 against West Brom back in 2014 or 15 when Tim Sherwood was the manager and he scored a header. I was in the away on that day, and I think it was the first start for Spurs. I know it's quite a going back away, but that was a great moment for me. Beforehand, I hadn't seen a lot of him. When was the first time you sort of saw Kane?
Well, the goal against Aston Villa, the free kick, the deflected free kick.
That was most people's moment.
And the Klinsmann dive in the rain. But I don't know when I can't pinpoint the exact game when I start to go, he's a player. I think it was a phase, it was a series of games that you could start to see it, and they start to talk about it more, match of the day.
I think I noticed him really early.
Yeah. Okay. So what sort of games are you?
Literally, just as I was saying, the West Brom one when he scored, and I thought, hang on a minute, he's come in, and he's matured up already. He hadn't been in the squad fully yet, and that was impressive. But then, as sort of Poch came into things, and he was doing well in the Europa League, it all led up to which eventually the moment for everyone was, of course, the Villa moment. The free kick in the last minute. But it was those Europa League games after that West Brom game, which I saw, and I was keeping an eye on him, thinking, I know he's going to be a player. And then eventually he started Kane against Villa, and that was the light bulb moment, I guess.
I think for me, maybe it was even the Europa League game where he scored 3 and then went in goal.
That was.
I think he needed those European games just to sort of break him in, because I know that Harry Redknapp was trying to bleed him into the team. And it wasn't really happening for him. It wasn't happening for him. And I was looking at him going, he just doesn't look a player to me. Yeah. And then he went away, came back, and then was led into the European games. And he sort of got his confidence from that. And for me, the game that really marked him, for me, hallmarked him, was the Chelsea game, the 5-3 at home, which is a great game. I don't know if you remember that one. But
of course.
That for me was when Kane was world class.
Is that correct me if I'm wrong? Did John Terry score an own goal or something?
John Terry scored a goal in the last minute, I think.
Oh, okay. And he didn't celebrate. That was it. And I remember thinking that.
Why not? Why didn't he celebrate?
Because they were 5-2 down, and he scored to make it 5-3. So it was like John Terry scoring against Spurs, and he can't celebrate. That
was good.
And I remember thinking that time as well, it was like we were sort of on the come up for the first time under Poch, and Kane was coming up as well.
Yeah.
And those moments as a fan is, I just love them, because you're excited for the future. You've got a new squad building up, and we haven't had that yet this season, which is a completely different conversation. But those moments as a fan, it's amazing to see.
I mean, I'm going to say something controversial here, okay? But I like being honest.
Yeah.
Back then, let's take that Chelsea game for instance, okay? Mm-hmm. I would say Kane peaked for me in 2015 to 2016. I know he scored a record amount of goals in 2017.
I've heard you say that, yeah.
But I actually think that Kane was world class between 2015 to end of 2017. And I don't think he has been ever since then. I think he lost, around January 2018. I actually wrote in Spurs groups, I was writing up, I said, I'm noticing him scuff the ball. He's like getting the ball scuffed underneath his feet a lot. He's lost that touch. He's lost that zip. Also, when he ran with the ball, he actually used to be quite fast. He lost the sort of a yard of pace. He also used to have this sort of rubbery frame where people used to bounce off him.
He used to track back a bit deeper as well, but now you sort of see him only sort of be involved if it's near the goal, and I think that may be due to. Pardon?
You think? I actually think the opposite. I think he's dropping. I think he's actually dropped as the team's started to get worse. I think he has dropped deeper to try and then everything has to go through Kane, which actually. And I actually think that sometimes when we haven't played Kane, we've actually played better. And that's potentially something that needs. and it's slightly concerning because Kane should be our talisman, but there's been times where he's actually slowed the play down quite a lot, and everything has to go through him. And actually, when that happens, people like Son don't shine, as for want of a better, not intended.
I like
but
it.
The sun doesn't shine when Kane plays sometimes, you know. And then when Kane is sidelined, Son comes out. The sun comes out again.
That came up a lot last year. A lot of people were saying that when he got injured towards the back end of last season. I remember Son scored against Newcastle and some other teams.
Yeah.
But it happens when Kane's not playing, and I think the injuries had a massive part to play in his Spurs career. As you were saying, maybe that's why you don't think he's world class anymore, because these injuries.
I think you're right.
Injuries are slowing him down time after time. They're happening year after year.
I totally agree. I think each year, each season, he's out for 3 months at least. You know.
Yeah.
And this is going to take its toll on the body after a while. And you know, after the second injury, I noticed a slight difference. And if you actually watch his performances now, or like, you know, in the last few months, whatever, and compare them to 2016, 2017, for me, it's not the same Kane. I mean, he's obviously still going to score goals.
Yeah.
Look in the World Cup, he scored 5 or 6 goals. But for me, that he had a poor World Cup. You know, for me.
The first half was great, but the second half, I could agree with, but not overall. But
and also one other thing is I don't see him playing with the same smile on his face that he used to either. You know, like when he used to score, he used to always smile. Think about when he ripped the mask off and he ran. You know, he's smiling.
That's my favourite. That's my favourite Kane moment.
Like, you'll see when Kane scores now, he just does that. He does that.
He does that.
And he's not even smiling. I don't think he's enjoying it. You know, and it's sad, really. But
that's what I refer back to when I was talking about that 5-3 against Chelsea. They're the moments when you're on the come up and you don't know what's next. As a player, as a person, that's what it's all about. When you're got that excitement and you're a bit younger, because now he's older, he's sort of had that stage, and now he's at the top. He's there now. But when you're on your way up, it's always that more exciting. Exactly. So that game against Chelsea and that game against Villa, they're the ones that you remember more so than if he was to score in a big game against Arsenal today, just because he was young and he's up and coming. Exactly. I feel like you just get different perspectives on it.
Yeah, absolutely. He had that enthusiasm. He the club was on its way up. He was developing, and I think now it's sort of leveled off a little bit, and it's sort of
it's like we've been in the Champions League now, and we want something else. Which unfortunately, that's how football works. Whenever you've reached a milestone, you don't just accept that same milestone. You always want to go higher and higher. That's why, you know, we keep referring back to it. But when Kane was at that time, I do agree with you. He was a better rounded player, or more enthusiastic, definitely.
Yeah, more deadly. He was just a more deadly striker, faster, quicker, players were bouncing off him. And also, like, he used to sort of get braces all the time. He scored two goals, like, you know, every couple of games he'd score 2 goals. And now it's sort of like, you know, 1 goal, maybe nicks a penalty, like he buys a penalty and, you know, he gets a lot of goals from that at the moment, and it's sort of papering over the cracks a little bit of Kane.
Yeah.
And I think only he would really be honest enough to say that he's not quite the player he was a couple of years ago or 3 years ago. I think actually the last world-class performance he had was the 4-1 against Liverpool at home.
Wow,
that was 2007. That was 3 years ago now. So that's my opinion, but he's still obviously a great player, superb player, international player. He's still going to score loads of goals, but you only have to look at his goal tally per season. It's like it peaked in around 2017. I think goal ratio wise, he was even higher the year before, and I think you're going to see that come down a little bit over the next few years. But that's just, you know, that's my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's good insight. To be fair, I think just to cap it off, I feel like someone with nothing to lose is always the most dangerous type of footballer or sportsman in general, because when you've got nothing to lose, you've got everything to give, because there's nothing that can go wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
But now there's so much that can go wrong. Injuries, his position in the England squad. Not that he's going to get dropped, but there's so much more for him to lose now. And I think that's just unfortunate we can. But, you know, he's still a top player, and I believe he's still a world-class player.
I hope he gives himself that extra push to push himself on to another level, you know.
Yeah. No, it's good chat though. I think it's good to talk about where Kane's at the moment. And if you guys enjoyed as well, I'll put a poll up so you guys can have your say. and have a little vote in the top right hand corner at the I button now. So yeah, let us know below if you enjoyed, and thanks for joining. Until next time, come on you Spurs.